Alright guys, so stop listening. I just bought a bunch of this type of stuff. So like DIY jewelry making, elastic beading, thread, stretch polyester string cord. Um, it also comes in like clear varieties. And yeah, this one's clear. And it comes some comes in like a tape form, some in more of like just normal string. So I think I'll be able to use it for certain sewing jobs with elastic materials I'm trying to sew. And I just strongly sense it will be useful for robotics somehow. Whether it's creating artificial ligaments or like, I don't know. I know that stretchy stuff is good. It's gonna help. It's not for jewelry making, it's for robotics. And also for tailoring and repairing stuff. It could be a spring substitute. Like my paper feeder tray has springs on it. I could use string instead of springs for certain cases. No, that's not hoarding to buy string. Like I already have sewing string, and I for sure have applications right off the bat. Like for sure for sewing stretchy stuff, and I plan to use it to aid in generating more tension in certain areas and stuff for my robot's ligament systems. I'm sure certain ligaments this will be actually ideal for as well. Especially for small scale robotics. Like this type of string might be perfect for like robot seagull ligaments like in his legs or whatever. And maybe like when a bird raises its wings, it's not using as much force as when it pushes down. So I could have the underside of the wings have a bunch of elastic cords that pull them down hard. And then to raise it up, the motors have to work a little bit, but the pulling down, the motors are assisted by elastic string, and that could help with the bird's flight. Just little stuff like that I feel could be big. In fact, if you're using micro motors to like raise an eyebrow, that tiny motor might not be able to then also pull the eyebrow back down because there's not that much room on it to wind string in both directions for both forward and backwards movement. So you could use just a little bit of elastic cord that pulls it back down again, and then the motor is only required just to pull it up. The elastic cord will pull it back down. So you could use elastic cords as the opposing muscle group for small facial expression motors that are tiny motors that you might not want to have them have to do both forward and backwards directions. It would just turn the other way and the elastic cord would do the rest. So it would be a controlled moving of that muscle with elastic pulling and the motor pushing. Or the motor pulls one way, the elastic pulls the other. When the motor turns, it pulls the muscle forward and then the elastic pulls it back. And I think that would be practical for certain small scale muscles, like really tiny stuff. Like imagine if the robot seagull, if I want to make it blink, give it little eyelids. I would probably use it for something like that with a tiny micro motor.